Oh, it's David the Dead here. Welcome back to my channel. I'm going to try something a bit different today, and it's maybe to try and consolidate some of my empire. They are sort of a bit fractured, kind of on various shelves, high up, low down. And yeah, I thought I could do something with maybe a bit of space down here. It does mean moving some of these carded figures eventually. But yeah, I've been gifted this this sort of metal frame, all black, kind of steel structure. It's about 5 foot high. Yeah, I would say about 5 foot tall. But the shelving, let me get for a bit of scale so you can sort of tell just how high up this is. So that's a couple of standard vintage collection figures. Stick one on the shelf down below. I'm not going to stick carded figures on it, although I'd be very, very tempted just to fill it like a shop display. This was actually dumped outside of our local, one of our local wine stores. That was commandeered by Ryan Speaks Geek. He took it home and just asked if I was interested in it. And to be honest, I said yeah. You can see like metal framework. It's a little bit of rust, but to be fair, it's the Star Wars world. Yeah, it's supposed to be lived in. This isn't going to be a Death Star. It's not going to be like a specific scene or anything. But I think it could house the Empire quite well. Okay, so I'm going to move it and then join me when it's sort of in place, and we'll see how we can fill it. Before I carry on, if you want to see more content like this, please drop a like, subscribe to the channel, comment what sort of random shelf bits have you got in your collection. Something just that separates your collection from everyone else's, really. This is quite random. And there is room for some sort of signage in here. I don't know if you can sort of make out the little grooves. Obviously, this is from a shop. So, yeah, could put something in here. Eventually, maybe it'll just say the vintage collection. Who knows? Anyway, cool. Let's start filling it. Just wanted to sort of do a quick comparison. So this is the Kenner Star Destroyer set. Yeah, it can fit a few figures in there, but it's an awkward size. So you can see it you can see earlier in the video, it wasn't going to fit in one of these bottom shelves. I don't think it looks particularly great, sort of just sitting in there. And I mean, it doesn't really resemble a Star Destroyer at the best of times, but I think when it's actually sat like that, no good either. Frustratingly, it doesn't fit in the Detolf, unless I've completely miscalculated all this time. It doesn't fit in the Detolf either, so it's a really awkward size to put anywhere. Wonder if it will fit in a Kallax at some point. Anyway, that's a dilemma for another time. Just wanted to show that is not going to feature. We're going to go with the Imperial Shuttle. Right, so it's kind of like a TIE fighter hangar like this. So we've got the TIE Interceptor, regular TIE fighter, the advanced prototype from Rebels, and the TIE bomber. I did try fitting this ATDP Walker in, too tall. It does fit the one from Solo, although I don't know, only really if it's behind a TIE fighter, so maybe I will move that out. And I want to display it with the right sort of figures as well. So we'll see. Again, it's all experimenting at the moment. Okay, so I'm trying something different then. You saw it with TIE fighters. How about more of a space station vibe? It's a little bit fragmented. Not all the play sets will fit, properly. I've still got a TIE fighter down the bottom. I might replace that with some of those speeders or transports. Yeah, so this is the like Gideon's hallway down there. You see there's a bit of a gap above each one, but to be honest, when you're looking at it, from above, you're not really going to miss out on all that. And I could possibly put some lighting underneath, having it down, so maybe at night that might look quite good. Maybe some red lighting, who knows. Yeah, I think like the Emperor looks pretty good there with his guards. Like the rail, like along here, it's not quite. I mean, it's almost like handrail sort of height for these figures, so that kind of looks good. I'm not trying to pretend this is like the Death Star or anything. And if it was, I've got a real mix of Death Star 2, Death Star 1, and Gideon's light cruiser. So more of a space station, maybe, with like, you know, room for the shuttle on top, or it could be any vehicle really on top. You know, your TIE fighter, or even the walkers could go on top. We'll see. I'm going to keep populating it with figures because I think I can fit quite a few on there, and they'll look really good. All right. Anyone that has these Imperial officers from the Power of the Jedi Saga collection era knows just how poor they are at standing. So they will go very nicely in my Imperial shuttle, seeing as you'll be able to see pilots from this sort of top-down view. So they'll go in there. Very nice. That shuts quite well. So, I mean, it isn't screen accurate, but I do love having Luke and Vader, the sort of final duel in Return of the Jedi. Plenty of Imperial guards back here and the dignitaries. No Simalu. We need Simalu in the vintage collection. Maybe finish the 96 video on that character at some point. But yeah, so we've got Imperial Shuttle, the Emperor with the final duel. Let's see what we can populate with this. Obviously, this is the detention block. It's a Power of the Force 2 playset from like mid-late 90s, and a bit of the Imperial light cruiser hallway because it doesn't quite fit on the end here, but we can use this end part for some docking stations for the Dark Troopers. Now I've opened up a few more spares, spare Imperials, figures that well, yeah, just don't feature much at the moment, for one reason or another, just not in the setup. Some spare Kenner figures, mainly Biker Scouts in here, but they might also do. Yeah, or dilemma as to whether to go full space station sort of setup with figures or keep it more ship based. Let me know in the comments what you prefer. So I was torn between having ships or having figures, so I've gone for a bit of both actually. With my Imperial shuttle, I've gone for some figures surrounding it, like some concept, like Concept Boba, Concept Stormtrooper. Down on the Emperor's shelf, I've replaced Vader and Luke and have it as more of like a training regime for the Royal Guard. Coming down into the detention block, we've got like I guess the Dark Troopers in there, a Space Trooper, Mimban, almost like getting ready to deploy for Mimban, if you like. Down here's the TIE fighter sort of squadron, I guess. The Baron in the middle there, with one of my TIE fighters, and then curling round the side we've got some Death Troopers, one retro. It's a bit of everything really at the moment. Down in this corner, a couple more Imperials from the well, one from the Obi-Wan series and one KX droid from the computer game, and then rounding off with a couple of sort of rebel ships. Yeah, I think this is how I'm going to have it for now. As I say, I'm going to sort of review how sturdy it is, figures of you know, how well they stand, because they are all freestanding at the moment. Only a couple of figures like the Royal Guards have actually got figure stands. I'd be very tempted to move the Empire over to where the Ghost is as well, and just have sort of a black top. But yeah, okay. Well, let me know what you think anyway. It's a bit different. It fits a few Imperials on it, and where they've gone, I've got a few spaces now on the shelves which I can look to, fill out. yeah, let's see how we go then. I've been David the Dead. Thanks for watching. Again, if you like what you've seen, please like and subscribe. Comment below. What would you do with your Empire? Like I say, we've got so many options now from so many different series. So I'd like to see how you put together your displays. Whether you do one big shelf of just Imperials, or whether you do sort of have them per sort of faction, like a Rebels display and Mandalorian and whatnot. I think this looks pretty good. I'll leave it here. Yeah, I've been David the Dead, and I'll see you next time.